Hi folks, this is Sandy from Creative Chaos. I just thought I'd start the habit of doing a weekly vlog, if you will, just talking about my week and what's going on. I thought it might be kind of fun, and it will kind of force me to be a little more active on YouTube as well. So here we go. This is for the week ending January 31st. And I wish everybody a happy Saturday. I hope your day is going well and that the crazies out in the world haven't got you yet. So what's been happening in my little corner of paradise? I know that I have not been as productive as I should be on YouTube because I've got my little list of notes here, because of how much time I spend watching videos on YouTube and other things instead of actually doing stuff that's productive. So I'm hoping to change that starting immediately. One of the issues that I have had is that there's kind of been a confluence of issues. I was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2015 and had 2 surgeries, and as far as we know, knock on wood, it was after chemo and radiation, everything is good. But I found that after my chemo and my surgeries, I have never slept well again. My sleep is always interrupted. I go to bed and I'll lie awake for hours. It's like that's the time my mind wants to solve the problems of the world. And often after lying in bed for an hour or 2 hours, I'll get up and stay up for 2 or 3 hours and then go back to bed. So somehow during the process, my sleep patterns, I guess, have gotten a little screwed up. Like 3 nights ago, I went to bed at midnight, was tired, ended up couldn't sleep, got up, was up until after 6:30 in the morning, went back to bed, slept for 3 or 4 hours, then was up. Well, then of course by the afternoon, I'm a zombie. I can't keep my eyes open, and I'm certainly not in any way, shape, or form productive. So that's a bit of a problem. As well, we have 3 cats, and all of our cats are rescues. We adopt, we don't shop. And so all of our cats are rescues, and all of them now are considered senior citizens. I have one that's 19. She's a little eccentric. And then I have 2 others that are in no way related, but they're about the same age. One we got from the SPCA, and the other we took from a friend of a friend of a friend who was getting rid of them. The last one we have, which is from the friend of the friend of the friend, has been diagnosed as having diabetes. And she was very sick. She is a big Maine Coon, and she lost more than half her weight. So she's down to a cat from about 22 pounds down to a cat that's about 11 pounds. So we give her insulin twice a day. And due to the way we set out the schedule, it's at 6 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. Now, my daughter is here with me, but she also has sleep issues and other health issues she's dealing with. So I took on the task of getting up and giving Tequila her shot. And she's really good about it, surprisingly. She can be a nasty cat, but she's being really, really a good patient. So the purpose of me telling you this is that typically I don't go to bed early. It might be 3 o'clock in the morning before I get to sleep, and then I'm back up again at 6 to give her shot. Go back to bed around 7:30, sleep probably till 12:30, and then the day starts all over again. So that's not really a good thing. So that has contributed in some ways my lack of energy, my lack of just being doped up or groggy all the time has not contributed to me getting exercise or doing anything other than sitting around and watching TV. So that's going to change. I have talked to my doctor about it. We've got me on some medication, and basically what we have to do is we have to reset I think they call them your circadian rhythms. So I have to reset my body so that my days are not switched around anymore. So anyway, that's the one thing regarding YouTube. So I'm hoping that now that I'm kind of back on a schedule, the last couple of days I've been up at 6 o'clock, and I've stayed. Yesterday I did. Today I didn't. But yesterday I stayed up most of the day, and that worked out well. And I quite enjoy having that much of the day ahead of me. There's not very much that you can accomplish in 2 or 3 hours during the daytime. which is usually by the time I get rolling after I've gotten out of bed at 1 o'clock, we're not going to get much accomplished. So that's the one thing regarding the YouTube. So I'm hoping that this little weekly vlog will be of interest to other people, but also helps me to kind of get in some kind of a routine and get some structure back in my life. The other thing that I've been doing this week is, I mentioned in my last vlog that I moved my studio. I had my studio we're in a 3-story townhouse, so I had my studio in the spare bedroom on the 3rd floor, and I loved it up there. It was very cozy, but a small room. It was only like maybe 9 by 10, and it was just chock full of stuff. So talked to my daughter about it. We agreed that I could take over the living room, because my living room I never used. I haven't used it. We haven't sat in here once in the last year. My dining room is adjacent. It's all kind of one big room. You can see it. I'll lean over. You can see the light. Where that light is in my dining room. I used that once last year. So, long story short, we agreed that I would move my workroom down here, which I have done. I'm not completely finished yet, but I have my desk set up down here, and I have shelving units. I have 4 shelving units, and I'm gradually bringing stuff down. That pile of junk back there, you probably can't see it, is all the stuff I have to weed through and find places for. So in addition to moving the studio, I'm painfully aware of how much stuff I have and how much stuff I'm not using. So I am purging. I'm going through and weeding through stuff, purging some of it, repurposing some of it. And I mean, I have so many dies, so many stamps, so much paper, so much everything, that I kind of think I might put together a couple of card kits with various supplies in them and see if I can pass those on to somebody else at a reasonable price. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll give it a try and see. And I'll make sure that when I do it, it has really good value in it. I probably have enough stuff, art supplies, to supply a small store. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I've been stamping since 1998. And for a long time, I bought everything I saw. My hunting and gathering instincts are very strong. Typically, I would go to, it was not uncommon for me to go to the paper store and spend over $100 on paper. So the process continues. I'm very happy down here. I really, really like it. It's a little cooler than upstairs, but really happy with it. The flip side to that is I have a very large desk up in my room upstairs. I always had 2 desks. This one was a computer desk. It's quite large. It's probably 40 inches long by maybe 40 inches deep. Oh, maybe even bigger than that. So it's very heavy. It's not one of these particle board things. It's quite heavy. I think it's solid wood. And it would have to be taken apart to bring it down. I don't remember how we got it up there. I've been upstairs about 8 or 9 years. So I don't know how we got it up there, because it was originally down in my family room in the basement. But in any case, we got it up there. I suspect we had to take it apart. So we would have to take it apart to bring it down. And I didn't really want to do that, because at my age, I mean, I'm not exactly 1 foot in the grave yet, but my mind tells me, yeah, you can do that. But my body says, oh, no, you can't. And every time I try to do something like that, I end up hurting myself. So the purpose of me this explanation is that I was lying in bed one of those nights I couldn't sleep. And I thought, why do I have to take that desk down? I can use the dining room table, which I never use anyway. It's bigger than the desk. It's got really good light. And I can just put a plastic cover over it and use it for like my cutting machines. I've got a Genie, not a Genie. Yeah, Genie. The Genie Junior. And I've got a fairly big cutting board and other stuff that I can put there. And when I need a lot of room, I can work over there. I actually, when I was out on a shopping trip, I picked up a roll of plastic to put over it. So I discussed that with my daughter, and she's fine with that. So that's good. So what we will do is we would eventually take apart the desk upstairs and send it to the dump or whatever. So that's a good thing. I had also gone on one of my lists and asked, because I was concerned about lighting. This living room has no overhead lights, so I was concerned about lighting. So I'd gone online and asked some of the people on one of my other groups what they used for lighting, if they had any suggestions, and I got some really good ones. I was thinking about having an electrician come in and put in pot lights, but it'd be very expensive, and I'm not sure whether that would even solve the problem. So I went on Amazon and I got a light. It's right here to my, well, maybe I'll switch it around. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I'll try not for you not to get sick. This light here was only $53. It's got 4 light values on it. It's got a couple of different colors. That's on the highest right there. And since my eyes are not so great, I need some bright light, and that's more than sufficient. And then I've got a one of those snap-on that you snap on your desk over here on my left. So it is really nice and bright here. I really like it. So I'm not going to have to do anything else about that. So all in all, things are starting to come together. I am also, sorry, I was just reading my list here. I'm also, as you probably know, I'm a card maker, and I'm trying to be responsible with my supplies. So I reached out to try to find some places that I could donate cards to, so that the paper and supplies and whatever wouldn't just be thrown out, because I hate to see any of that stuff go to the landfill. And while I do send stuff to Value Village, there's only so much of that you can send at one time. So anyway, I had a friend reach out to me. She lives on the island, and she belongs to a group, a professional group, or a group of her colleagues that she has worked with. She's since retired. Have a group where they send out cards to senior citizens. You know, birthday card. I guess people that they, well, I mean, let's face it, a lot of senior citizens don't have a lot of friends or family for support and are not able to get out. Some of them are shut-ins. So what they do is, I don't know where she gets her names from, but they send cards out: birthday, anniversary, get well soon, thinking of you, Christmas, whatever. So she contacted me and said, you know, last year I sent out 125 cards at Christmas. So if you wanted to donate your cards, our group would really appreciate it. You know, it would be a huge help to us. So I said, perfect, you're done. We're on it. Now I usually make, for a long time I made the 4 1/4 by 5.5 cards. I just find them a little small for what I like, for my style. So typically I will do a 5 by 7, either portrait or landscape, or I'll do a 5 by 5 or 6 by 6 square card. I do some smaller ones, but typically not a lot. So she had said that she probably would prefer them a little smaller than 5 by 7. So I did some thinking about that, and I came up with a plan, which was inspired by a lady. I don't know what her name is, but her channel is Biddy Penny. She's a prolific card maker. I mean, prolific. She makes hundreds of cards a year, and she donates them as well. And she sends out the small ones. Now, the small ones that she prefers are a little too small for me. I believe they are this size, which is a 3 by 5. No, I'm sorry, this is a 3 by 4. Now, this one's a little too small for my liking. So I went through and measured them out, and I came across the one that I think I want to do. Is it in here? Maybe it's not. Typical, it's not there. Oh, here it is. It's a 4 by 6. So it's not that much smaller than a 5 by 7, but the 5 by 7 is this one, the red and yellow one. The 4 by 6 is the one with the balloons on it. So you can see there is a bit of a difference. And I thought, well, this is a good compromise. So I decided, okay, so that's what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to make 4 by 6. But then, of course, I probably don't have very many, if any, 4 by 6 envelopes. Then I got thinking about that. Then after watching another lady, and I'll be darned if I can remember her name, I'll try to put it in the description below, but she's been card making. Again, she's more a scrapbooker actually, but she does do some cards for years, like she says 20 years, 25 years. And she gets stuff every month. So she has a huge stash of stuff. And she said, a lot of this stuff I don't like anymore. It's not my style. So what she did, I watched several of her videos. She went in and she pulled out her card packs, not as card packs, her paper packs. And she went through and sorted out which ones she liked and which ones she didn't. And she has a group in her neighborhood where she will donate the ones that she doesn't like. So she cut on 6 paper pads, she cut it down to about a third of what she'd had before. So that inspired me. So I went through my paper, which is loose, not my paper pads. And I was one of those people, stupid, I know it is. But I would go and I would buy paper, and if I found one I liked, well, I couldn't just buy one. I had to buy 5, 6, 7, whatever. So I went through my paper pads, my paper stash, which are not in pads. And this is what I weeded out. I've got another box over there or a box here that's got as much again. So I'm going to be recycling some of this, either by sending it to Value Village, or, I mean, it's nice paper. It's just not my thing anymore. You know, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, it's not cheap, junky paper, but it's just not my style, or I've got so much of it that I'm weeding out. So anyway, I ramble. I got those all out, and I decided, well, I can use some of that to make my envelopes for my 4x6 cards. I have one of those, this thing here, template, I don't know what the hell you call it, this thing, which I actually have used a lot once I got the knack of how to use it. So what I did was, now when I made the envelopes, I did end up with a lot of scraps, but I planned to coordinate my cards to my envelopes by using, if I make an envelope with this, I'm going to use this in the card and then embellish accordingly. So that was good. And then last night, I made these, and I think they're really cute. These are all 4x6. Oops, I'm sorry. The inside of the card is that. The outside was this. So I tried to keep in mind, or be cognizant of the fact that there's going to have to be an address written on here and a return address. So I went for the lighter side if I could. Here's another one, very pretty. Crafty on the inside. Very pretty on the outside. You could handwrite on that with a dark pen. And then I glued them together, and then I just put double-sided tape along here. They came together very quickly. I did a bunch of them at once. Here's another one. Inside flap. Which I think that's nice because it really finishes it off lovely. Now I will probably end up including some labels on the ones that are quite dark. That one again, that one again, this one. I think these are really pretty. So I thought, well, holy smokes, that's a pretty good, like, I beg your pardon, excuse me, that's probably 8 pieces of paper I've used. I mean, I have scraps, but so I was happy with that. And I've got another, these are all the ones I've cut already. So these all have to be made. I'll just show you some of them. This is the back side of it. This is one-sided, one-sided, one-sided. Double-sided. One side. I mean, some of the stuff I bought for a project as well, and I don't know why I bought so much. Just me being me, I guess. And backside. One-sided, one-sided, one side, one side, one side, one side, back. So actually, I used up way more than 6. I'd forgotten about that stash over there. But I think these just finish off the card really, really, like, coordinate with the card. I think that's just really nice. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be happy to receive something like that. I sure would be happy to receive something like that. And like I said, I've been in card making for 20 plus years. So this is stuff that I've accumulated. You know, some of this stuff I would never use it anymore. I used to make a lot of wedding cards, so I've got a lot of wedding card paper or stuff that I had bought thinking I could use it for wedding cards. So I'm really pleased with that. That's one way. I would, if I can, I'll try to find to put Biddy Penny and the other lady's information down below. I'm just not sure that I will be able to find it. So basically, that's about it. As for what I'm working on now, I did sign up again for the 100-day project, and as I mentioned before, it's starting early this year, which is not a bad thing. Which I mentioned before, I didn't get very far on the last one. I picked a project that was, I did journal pages, but my journal was huge, it was silly. I don't know what I was thinking of. And I got overwhelmed. I couldn't keep up. So, but I would like to do it this year. So what I have done is I took inspiration from Creative Katie, Karen Burchell, and she's very prolific with tutorials and journal. I mean, just very prolific. I would strongly encourage you to go and check out her YouTube channel. So she was the one that turned me on to using a journal. Now I've bought numerous journals over the years. I mean, I bought expensive ones for calendars and just found I always come back to the simplest, which is either writing notes on the day, marking. All I use it for is marking in reminders or appointments. I mean, I don't do bullet journaling. I don't do any of that stuff. So one would ask, why do you keep buying them? I have no idea. So anyway, I bought this one last year because I had it in my mind I wanted it. And I really haven't used it very much. I like it. It's really pretty. You can see here I've got a few notes in there, but by and large I haven't used it much. So what she did was she took one of these. I don't know if it was this size or bigger. And she repurposed it by taking the pages out, jelly printing them as a starting point. I mean, she doesn't always leave them that way. More often than not, she does morph them or repaints them. But they're all ready. You could very easily do something to them that was very simple and call it a day for your project. So what I did was, I'll just do a quick flip through these. I'll just show you. I jelly printed these both sides, most of them. There's a couple that don't have. And this was fun. I really love jelly printing. I didn't try to be fancy. I just tried to be serviceable. And so I'll do it this way. It's easier to see. You would notice if you went through all of them, I'm not going to go through all of them, that there are certain color waves in here. This one I did both sides. The same with this one. So I believe these measure, I would be guessing, but I think they're 5 by 8 maybe. No, they're not that much. They're probably 4 by 6 is probably more what they are. So surely to God, surely to God, I can actually get something done on one of these each day and meet my commitment. So that's the one thing I'm doing. I'm also in an ATC, which I'm sure I mentioned before as well, an ATC swap with a gal down in Texas. It's A3 ATC group, I think is what it's called. Her name's Amy. She's got like 300 people that play in this swap, all international. I've only played 1 month so far, but I'm enjoying that. I really like working on ATCs because, again, they make up quick. You don't have to make them too complicated. And then, of course, my CCE group, I do 2 cards a month for that, so I still have to do that for January. And then I have a junk journal that I'm working on. I've only done a couple of pages. I've got the junk journal prepared, but I have only done a couple of pages with Christmas and whatever. So I plan to work on that. Again, I don't make New Year's resolutions because I never follow through on them. But my goal is to get away from watching so much on YouTube and get down to when I come down in the morning to get a cup of coffee, come in here and start working in my art room right away. Normally what happens is it's an end of the day task. It's not a task, it's an end of the day activity, and I want to make it a priority in my life now. So that's the plan. Other than that, I have nothing else to add. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're keeping safe. You're wearing your mask, you're social distancing. I hope that you're able to do the things that you love and keep safe and healthy. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, leave a comment, subscribe, come back and see me again real soon, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.